Well, what'd you think of DaBaby? I mean, DaBaby got canceled to a certain degree.
That's not fair either.
You know, a bunch of his shows, he had a bunch of big festivals that they literally kicked him off the lineup right after those comments.
So they still had to pay him, though.
They had to pay him the whole amount?
No, because if
Probably
he agreed
yeah.
and they let him off, they can't say it's on Morrow's account because they can't say his opinion about
So they
what
probably
he
had to
said.
pay him the whole amount.
They probably had to pay him. So this is the deal. And
Yeah.
I think that cancel culture shit is some bullshit.
I agree.
I think it is. And I think just like I don't care if he feels he wants to say whatever he wants to say. And it came from someplace else too. It didn't come from him saying all gay people. It came from literally him knowing somebody, and he was talking literally to that person, but he was talking to everybody about the person he was talking about. And he shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I mean, he's met with like 9 HIV organizations at this point.
Yeah.
And he issued a public apology. And I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. At this point, I feel like life is moving on. I mean, certain people probably won't work with him.
Well, I got the record. I got him and Wayne's record, so I like DaBaby.
Yeah,
hey,
I like DaBaby. I interviewed him. Yeah, I interviewed him, man. Listen, I like him too. I think he's a dope artist. At the end of the day, though, like I feel like it's so interesting that when things happen that a certain group of people don't like, they will really try to force that apology out of you. They will pressure and force that apology out of you. And I feel like when you look at these types of situations, it's usually best to apologize in the short term, but usually in the long term, if you don't really mean that apology, it's going to hurt you in the long term.
In the long term.
In the long term.
I think
the
a
way
lot
the
of
people perceive you.
I think a lot of
You know
people
what I mean?
have too much power though. And I think when they get into that petitioning and boycotting, and they paint you with a broad brush, just like a person speaks with that broad brush, I think that's also not a cool thing. And I think there's so much power now in different communities, and I think a lot of it should be focused. I'm with PETA, right? I was humanitarian 2020. No one knows because we were in pandemic.
Oh, you were PETA humanitarian in 2020. Congrats.
Thank you. And my idea with PETA is I love PETA because I need somebody to keep shaking the gates and yelling and screaming about advocating for the rights of animals. We need that shake. And we need somebody to yell and scream it. But they educate people on why they're doing it. So I think it's important that whoever went at DaBaby and him meeting with him explain why what he said was harmful and educate him on the future. I think that's the best way of doing anything.